be seated. Somewhere in the last year or two, I had occasion on some weekday morning to head down to Boone Hall, where we have, as you know, often a good special event. And this was the morning after. And I bumped into a husband and wife there who were cleaning up. And they had some of their belongings being put into boxes to be taken away. And so we bumped into each other and chatted for a while. And after a good chat, the wife said to the husband, would you now, take this box out to the car? And, he's certainly, yeah. And he needed the keys to, and so she had the keys to the car on one of those fobs attached to her pocketbook. And so she pulled it off her shoulder and gave him the pocketbook. And he's like, and he didn't say a word. He just pointed to the key, like, just give me the key. And, or say, there's no way I'm walking out of here with that pocketbook. And I was watching this all happen, and she, rolled her eyes and with a bit of exasperation, fiddled with it long enough to give it to him, and he was on his way. And I watched that, and I wondered if that would have happened had I not been there, or whether me being kind of a witness to this caused him to be a little more, proud about his manliness and that this was not something he was going to do. And so he wanted to maybe look good in my eyes, but the irony is he looked bad in my eyes because, and so here I want to frame it this way, not to overstate it, but I dare say he was at that moment, and maybe to this day, a servant of the God of pride, of shame, of distance as well. Choosing that God over the God of humbleness, love, and closeness. And here I saw an opportunity for him to kind of swallow that pride, take the pocketbook with the shoulder strap, and walk out to the car, and by so doing, telling his wife that she meant a little more to him and therefore had the courage to rise to the occasion and out of love for her, just go with the pocketbook and the full shoulder strap and go get the car or go bring the box out to the car. 10 lepers, all are healed. Jesus says to them as they call out to Jesus, he in response says, go to the priest. So in case you don't know, if you were a leper, you had to go to the priest to get officially cleared of your leprosy so that you could return, re-enter society, be back to your family, your job, community. So he sends them off to be, officially cleared by the priests, knowing, of course, that they still have leprosy, but on the way they're made clean. And one returns. He sees that, whoa, I'm clean, and he pauses long enough to turn around and come back and shamelessly, he's already screaming, praise the Lord, he's out of the box, he's been healed, he's cleaned, and not only is he clean, but he's got this sort of new lease on life, so he shamelessly says, yay, and he shamelessly throws himself down in front of Jesus and thanks him from the bottom of his heart. And Jesus, in response, adds a little piece here that can't be overlooked, that though the other 9 were made clean and they're quite happy about that, this fellow came back. It takes courage to respond with love when love is received. He had this great gift, and he recognized that, wow, I've been given this great gift of love that has healed me, and it's the proper response to come back, however shamelessly you do it, and to give thanks. And so Jesus says, not only have you been made clean, cleared of your leprosy, but your faith has made you whole. If you are a servant to shame, you have to stay in a box. You have to stay, within your comfort zone. And that poor husband didn't probably realize it at the time. He probably thought, I'm manly, I am self-reliant, I am independent, and I'm not going to do that. But he was basically saying, I'm a slave to the god of shame and pride, and I will not leave my comfort zone, even out of my love for you, in order to do what you're asking me to do. Naaman, same guy's guy. He eventually, makes the turn, but at the outset, Naaman is, he is a guy's guy, and he's a commander, he's a hero, he's strong, he's bigger than life, he's up on this horse, and he's got his soldiers all around him, but he's got leprosy, and he's a little ashamed of that, and he would like this healed. And so, as you hear the story, he is welcome to come to a prophet known in the region for healing such things, such cases. So he comes with full expectation, because he is the commander, that and he's accustomed to ordering people around, that he will arrive and this prophet will come out and will serve his needs. And so he's on his horse and he's waiting, and what happens? Not the prophet shows up, but a servant, a messenger is sent. That already is insulting. A messenger, not the man himself, a messenger is sent out with an order. Not being given an order, that messenger, but the little messenger orders him to get off his high horse and go down to that Jordan and dump himself 7 times and he'll be healed. And he's outraged. He's upset. And yet his servants are wise enough to know that maybe if they appeal to his manliness and say, I love that line, say, now, if he had asked you to do something hard, right, you would have done it. Yes, sir. But no, this is easy peasy. Just get off and go. And so he makes a change of heart, goes, is healed, and like that night, that one leper who came back, he also recognizes that this was a great gift. This wasn't. I wonder about those other 9 who went off, and yes, they were clean. All right, so now there's nothing to be ashamed about. I have no leprosy, but I am still enslaved to the god of shame. So those other 9 are still living in a box. But the one who turned around and had the courage to come back and respond with praise and thanks and love to love bestowed, he has been released from that box. He's released from the power of the god of shame. And only at that point can we begin to mature and become infinitely more than you can be when you live in a little box. And that is the gift of being made whole, being made well. I didn't throw in that little, the Greek, and there was a fact checker among us at the 8 o'clock, and he's gone off to find out if this is true, but when you say you are made well, it means essentially you are made whole. And that's such a beautiful point of grace in this reading, because yes, we can be made clean and be on our way and still be subject, still under the thumb, under the power, a powerful, powerful ruler, this god of shame. And it does take courage to leave that behind and come back. And so I've been thinking about, all my, career vocation as a priest is to try and encourage all of us. I know this is geared toward men, sort of, and I know women are thankful maybe for hearing a bit of this, but we're all needing to realize, this is the aha moment, that even though we think we're in control, I'm thinking of Naaman, that husband, I'm independent, I'm self-reliant, this is who I am, don't ask me to be anybody else. And yet, that person, ironically, is in a cage, is in captivity, and doesn't recognize it. And it's only through the courage of being able to follow the God of love that now we mature and we become more attentive, we become more available, we become more of a human being. And there's no end. There is no end to how much further we can unpack and become fully who God sees us already to be. So, I'm trying to think of the equivalent. I was actually researching. What's the equivalent of would it be the wife having to put on the ill-fitting fishing jacket to go down to get a gallon of milk at Cumbies? And no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But the equivalent of that husband, I call him poor husband, that husband of saying, yeah, let me just strap that on. And I'm going to walk out to the car with my pocketbook and complete with shoulder strap. That is how to shamelessly tell the world to which God you serve. The God of shame and pride that keeps you in a box, or the God of love that is sending you out to be fully who you are already in God's eyes.